Can I ask you something about rights?
Yes.
I've spent quite a bit of time in America over the last sort of 14, 15 years. And one of the things that I've noticed about the general conversation in America when it comes to something like healthcare is the idea that, well, it's not a right for people to have healthcare. You know, the marked difference that I found there is that here in Britain, because we've had the National Health Service for 70 years next year, that how that has affected us culturally. I feel like there are very few people in this country who would now say that it's not a right to have healthcare, you know. So can you talk a little bit about that and then generally more about what are our rights?
See, that issue is a very, very important issue. And at the end of the day, that is what the political divide is about. What the right wing says is, hey, you're on your own. You're 70 years of age, you have no health insurance, you've just been diagnosed with cancer. Well, I'm sorry about that, but tough luck, you're on your own. You're a bright young person who wants to become an engineer, you're great in math, but you don't have enough money to go to college? Hey, tough luck, you should have different parents. You are a little tiny baby, and your mom is out at work and can't afford decent quality child care for you. I'm sorry, it's a tough world. You know, it's a dog-eat-dog world, isn't it? We're all in it for ourselves, and I got to beat you down in order for my family to do well. And I don't have to worry about anybody else except me and my family. That is the right-wing ideology. But there is another belief that says we are all human beings. We all have the same needs. We are all in it together. And when your family hurts, my family hurts. And you need me to be there for you, and I need you to be there for me. And that in a democratic, civilized society, that is what it is about. That when my kids get sick, you're going to help me make sure they get the health care they need. Now, in 1948, and you should be extraordinarily proud of this, what this country did and said to the whole world is that health care is a right, not a privilege. And what you did here impacted not only this country, but countries all over the world. And one of the top items on my agenda and the agenda of many, many other Americans is to join every other major industrialized country on earth and move to what we call a Medicare for all single-payer program, which will guarantee health care to all people, as you do in the UK, as the French do, as the Germans do, as the Scandinavians do. We're going to do that. But, you know, because you asked that question, Michael, I'm reminded of something that didn't get a whole lot of attention in the United States, and that is, I think in the year 1944, a year before Roosevelt died, he gave a speech. I think it was what we call a State of the Union speech. I think that was the speech. Never got a whole lot of attention. And what he said, essentially, is that in America we have, as part of our Constitution, a Bill of Rights, 10 amendments that were passed when the country was first formed. And those amendments guarantee you the freedom of speech, the freedom of assembly, freedom of religion, your right to practice your religion without government interference, et cetera, et cetera. And what Roosevelt said in 1944, and is as true today as it was then, he said, we need an economic Bill of Rights. Okay, it's great, you can feel free to speak, practice your religion. But what about the right to have a decent job? What about the right to have health care? What about the right to have education? What about the right to have decent housing? Is that a human right? I think it is. And the world that we have got to fight for, and we can achieve, because we are an extremely wealthy world, if we use that wealth in a rational way, is, yeah, we can create a world where people have those rights. And think what that means when you wake up in the morning and you don't have to worry whether you can go to a doctor or not. You don't have to worry whether your kids are going to get a good education or not. You don't have to worry whether the water you drink is clean or whether it is filthy. That is, in my view, our goal, to make sure that every human being on this planet has basic rights to live their lives in a way that at least provides a minimal standard of living for all. And we can achieve that.